AskReddit by Fast Breath 9458. What's perfectly legal, but creepy AF? In the US, only Idaho explicitly bans cannibalism. Which is creepier, that the other states don't, or that Idaho had a reason to make it so very clear? They saw what happened with the Donner Party in their neighboring state and thought, you could never be us. Children's beauty pageants. They should not fucking exist. Same with those fucking purity ceremonies where daughters fake marry their dads. Edit, purity balls. https://yahoo.be/6ccseoe-si-huck-xxvl-rdrpr5-u. Sniffing someone's train bus seat right after they get up while making direct eye contact before they get off the train bus. This is so specific that I'm worried this happened to you. Are you okay? Walking the same direction as someone at night. Like, I swear to God I'm not following you, I just also live this direction too. I just hide in a shadow. Then, when they get a little further ahead, I move to the next shadow and so on. Facing the wrong way while riding an elevator with strangers. Then letting out a giant messy sneeze pointing at the center. Paparazzi. It's literally harassment with a fucking camera. How is it legal? Public space laws that allow photos to be taken of people. There's a creepy pap wannabe in my city who claims he's only interested in capturing people's individuality, but most of the photos are teenage girls, and he posts them onto his website. He's refused to take photos down of girls too, but the cops can't do anything because it's technically legal since it's a public space. Someone mentioned child beauty pageants earlier, and it really reminds me of something similar in cheerleading clubs. I'm an ex-cheerleader and at some of the competitions, the younger divisions, which had like 6-year-old girls, would have an odd increase in the number of older men in the audiences, but we noticed that they would come alone and not really speak to anyone else and then leaving right after. It was really suspicious and our teammates were on edge whenever we would see such an occurrence. My wife when we were dating was a cheer coach and one time I accompanied her. There were 2 or 3 weird men. Then I felt odd being there as she was off coaching, leaving me solo. Thankfully I knew all of her co-workers, so I stayed close to their training area. It's a shame because those kids are so dedicated and talented. It was a fun experience but one and done for me. Knowing the age of consent in every state. The ultimate party trick nobody asked for. Gently caressing and whispering to freight trains as they pull into the station. I didn't think anyone would notice. I thought that was perfectly normal. Naming your pet Fleshlight. That'll do it. Public masturbation in North Carolina. So long as your dick isn't visible, you can apparently stroke it in your pants on the sidewalk next to an elementary school for all the cops care. A guy did it at my retail job. We called the cops because he freaked out the cashier girl, and they refused to do anything more than trespass him. That gotta be cap. Being irresponsible with pets and animals. Basically, as long as they are not bleeding or starving, you can breed them, abandon them, and ignore them all you want. Oh man, I hate this one. I've lived in several different states and it seems I'm always near some horrible pet owner. One guy had a huge, fenced-in yard and he owned a pit bull. Really sweet dog. But he bought one of those plastic igloo doghouse things and chained his dog to it. So the dog had this huge yard that he could only stare at while pinioned with a 6-foot chain. Some teenager would be sent out a couple of times a day to give it food and water. The dog would go nuts, just overjoyed that someone was coming to him. But they'd fill the dishes and return to the house without even really acknowledging him. It broke my heart. I even called animal control, but same thing. Is the dog housed? Got food and water? Well, yes, but then we cannot do anything, these people. Using binoculars or a telescope to spy from your property onto another's as long as you don't violate their privacy, such as watching them undress or go to the bathroom. I bought a fixed lens digital camera for the Eclipse with a 60x zoom for $150–170. I was a little bit unnerved on how much I would see of my city just from my front porch. Edit. A lot of interest in the camera. The camera is a Nikon B600. They're going for $200 with accessories. Mine was less because it was just camera and battery only. I bought a RED 100,000 filter for $22, which was needed for everything except totality. I bought a remote but was ultimately unnecessary, as the camera has a moon mode which applies a timer and aids in framing the same way camera phones with super zoom do. Here's Eclipse pictures and examples of both ends of its optical zoom. https://imgur.com/a/neczogf right square bracket open bracket https://imgur.com/exogf. Edit 2. It only does 720p, but here's Eclipse video 2. https://imgur.com/a/gewkbtq right square bracket open bracket https://imgur.com/tugmtic. Shaking hands with someone then smelling your palm. That thought never even crossed my mind. Thank you for adding another abomination of an image to my perception of the world. Sitting in a seat directly beside a stranger in an otherwise empty movie theater. When I went to see Ghostbusters way back in the 80s, there was only my mum and I in the whole cinema. Just before the film started, a family of 4 walked right over to us, asked us to move up, which we actually did. The rest of the cinema was completely empty, so strange. Kids doing ballroom dance, especially in the very revealing clothing. As a dancer, I do not agree with that at all. Slowly driving an ice cream truck around the neighborhood with the music on at night. That might violate a noise ordinance. Making prolonged intense eye contact with strangers while smiling and nodding. Filming people randomly. Especially the people who do it just because it's legal. They are the epitome of "you're not wrong, Walter, you're just an asshole." Those videos of people doing that never fail to piss me off. Eating mayonnaise right out of the jar with your hands and wearing a shirt that says "mayonnaise is love." Our Stardew Valley would like a word with you. Humping a tree. Some dude got arrested for fucking a hole in a park picnic table. Staring at someone continuously. Stare at them while applying chapstick. Makes it creepier. Being like 30 and waiting until a girl turns 18 so you can date her. Like my creepy math professor once said, you can photograph them at 17, but you have to wait till they're 18 to have sex with them. You can have sex with them at 17, but have to wait till they're 18 to photograph them. Yes. He was let go after 1 semester. Edit. I got it backwards. Still though, the dude was a creep. Depending on the state, child brides. Pelvic exams on anesthetized women in healthcare facilities. Ah yes, my local hospital, also conveniently the only option in town, got in a shit ton of trouble for this in 2019. Read that again, 2019. Not 1919. Don't come telling me women are respected in the 21st century.